Hi everyone, welcome back to the Creative Coders. I hope you're all having a wonderful and fulfilling week. Before we dive into today's topic, which explores some different data types that we'll start using in Python, let's remember that we are confident, creative, and capable coders as well as people in general. Today, we'll be going over data types, specifically numbers and some basic arithmetic. Let's break apart the term data type to understand more about what data types are. First, we have the data. Well, what is data? Data, at its core, are individual pieces of information. This information can be something like a word, a number, or even a phrase. We as people interact with data all of the time. The fact that my phone case is pink, for instance, is a piece of data. And the fact that my phone has a camera is another piece of data. In general, the data is transformed into something that can be processed or analyzed. In Python, we can only do certain things with certain types of data. In each type of data, whether that's a string, which we'll talk about next week, a number, a list, a dictionary, or a tuple, all of these come with a set of functions that are possible for that data type. For instance, numbers come with some pretty standard mathematical functions. So let's say we had two numbers, which were stored in the variables number1 and number2. Num1, num2. Num1 equals 5 and num2 equals 4. Now, what would happen if we added num1 and num2 together and stored it in a new variable called num3? Well, as we can understand, this is going to give us back 9. This makes a lot of sense. All we're doing is adding two numbers together and seeing a result that we expect. With numbers, we can do every single mathematical function that we're used to, like subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and adding. We do need to remember that Python calculates expressions from left to right. So for this expression 1 that we have here, it computes 4 times 6, and then it subtracts 1 from that. But let's say, I had just written this out really quickly, and I wanted to actually multiply 4 by the value of 6 minus 1, or 5. That would be a pretty different answer than what we get in expression 1, and one that Python wouldn't understand without parentheses. So just like we would in real life, we have to make sure that we're following PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. This is the order in which expressions are processed in Python as well. But you haven't really seen yet numbers that involve decimals. In this case, integers, which we've seen so far, are whole numbers. That's not a lot of help to us if we are looking to have a number that has a decimal. That's why we have something called floats. These numbers are what we would use to represent numbers that have decimals in them. So a float might look like this. Float num1, which is our variable name, is assigned to the value of 4.5. We can recognize that this is a float because it's a 0.5. We see something after that decimal place. Now that we've talked about some floats and some awesome integers, I do want to end our discussion of this first module in our data type series by talking about something called Modulus Operator, which sounds pretty cool. This is essentially looking for the remainder of the division of two numbers and giving it back to you.
Now, what's cool about modulus is that we can apply it to our everyday lives pretty easily. So let's say you wanted to have 4 pieces of an 8-piece pizza. Well, there's a remainder there. There's a remainder of 4 pieces.
Let's say we tried to divide 12 by 5. So 5 goes into 12 2 times without any problems. But we can't quite fit another 5 into that remaining space. So this remaining space, 2, is our remainder. And this is what the modulus operator lets us find. We write modulus using our little percentage sign. Thank you for exploring arithmetic and numbers in Python with me. Next week, we'll be going over some strings before diving into some more advanced data types. Have a lovely week, everyone, and make sure to tune in for Spotlight Saturday. Thanks so much.